Okay, good everyone. Right, I was concerned when I raised the lower shock mounts that I would have an issue with the shockies not having enough travel and bottoming out. And what I did was I raised the bump stop so that the bump stop hit half inch or something before the shocky bottomed out. But yeah, after loading, I loaded my two boys in there, picked them up from bowling, Nesty, and he had a bowling ball with him, and yeah, it was just bottoming out continuously, every bump, hitting hard. Yeah, no good. So yeah, in case you haven't watched the previous videos, yeah, I raised my lower shocky mounts. I didn't want them hanging down, they were already hitting on rocks and things, and it was only a matter of time before I bent and broke them and busted my shocky at the same time. So yeah, there's another video on that. Anyway, yeah, so you sort of don't have a lot of room here, because it's only just below the body. So, and I didn't want to cut off the original shock mount either. So what I found was this is the bottom shocky mounts off my previous swing arm pipes, tubes. Yeah, so I cut them off and weld them on, because you can't, normally I'd just pin that and I'd go all the way around and just keep doing circumference welds until I fill up the V in it. But yeah, you can't get to the back of it to weld it, so yeah, I took it down to a point, at this diagonal here, and then I just filled in. I tacked it in place with a MIG while the shocky was on there, and then took the shocky off and just lay weld after weld after weld on top of the original shocky mount and just build it up until it, a couple of layers across there, and then one across there, and then a couple of layers, another one across there, and bring it back out until I filled up, the entire V. The issue was, though, that in doing that, it did pull down a little bit. Not very much, but enough to put the shocky offline. Like when I sat the shocky in there, instead of it sitting in the center of this bracket, it was over to this side. It was still within it, but I sort of wanted it in the center. So I've got a bar. Made up this bar. There's a fairly solid piece of rod, and heated it. I've only got that silly yellow map gas thing. I don't have an oxy or anything, so it took a long time to heat it. Probably wasted half a bottle of gas, and I had, there's half of it broke in half. Fibro's not what it used to be. It's fibre cement. It used to be asbestos, but anyway. Yeah, so I had another whole piece, or full piece in behind there, trying to keep the heat off the body. It's a bit risky because you got fabric glued to the other side of that, and I don't have the original fabric. It was all stripped out, but yeah, I do have. I got boot liners stuck to it with some other blankets, and it did get quite warm. I ended up spraying it with a trigger spray, and trying to keep it warm and checking inside and make sure it wasn't catching on fire. But yeah, because it took a long time, but I did manage to straighten it up. Shows how strong it is, actually. Like, I re-straightened this bar, but actually bent this bar. So I bent this bar, even though that was already glowing red hot, and I managed to move it enough, but in the process I bent this bar, so yeah, I got no concerns about it breaking. It's major strong. So anyway, we sort of gone for as much of the lifts as I can on there, but you know, when you square it up to where that hole is, we sort of got, still don't have a lot. We've got probably 2 inches, I suppose, 2 inches higher. So yeah, so that means I'll now have to cut this bump stop back down. It's probably, that would actually bring it close to the original bump stop height, except that the original bump stop, you know, is a long piece of rubber. It'll compress a whole lot more, so it'd probably still bottom out the shocky. And I only have one of them anyway, and I don't have time to wait for another, so yeah, I'm just going to cut this back down. It's only got 4 tacks. Whether to cut the tacks out or just cut it off and weld it in place. But anyway, yeah, that'll drop down to there now. So I'll take another 1.5 inches out of that. And hopefully that's enough to stop it bottoming out. The other thing I had to do, I had a rattle. And yeah, it took me ages to figure out what it was. And even though I'd put spacers, because as explained in the previous video, these shockies come off the old swing arm suspension, and they're not designed to fit into this mount. And I had washers packed either side of them, and I had the bolt done up pretty tight, but it was still moving within it, or you know, jumping up and down on the bolt. Let's show you what I mean. So, you know, like the bolt was still, unless you do it up tight. That's not a good example, that's a bit rusty inside, but hear the noise? It's sort of deadened because I'm hanging on it with my fingers, but it's enough of a noise to notice, you know. So yeah, so what I decided to do, I found another bit of pipe the exact same size, and yeah, put it in the press. I just stuck the bolt in it, stuck the bolt through there, through the pipe, and used the new piece to push out the old piece, put it in the press, and yeah, just push it until it's roughly centre. So yeah, so now I'll be able to tighten it up tight onto this pipe and stop it, yeah, rattling around. Yeah, this is the other thing too, because see, this needs to be, you know, fairly square. So yeah, what I decided to use is I got a pipe cutter. This is a copper pipe cutter. It's actually a bit blunt because I had used it once before to cut steel pipe, and yeah, it's not designed for that. But what it does do is an exactly square mark. So not going to focus, is it? Come on, focus on there. Camera's not going to focus. But anyway, it's marked, you know, like I'm not going to try and cut it off, as I say, because I've already blunted it. I don't want to make it any worse. But yeah, it's marked enough of a line that I can follow that now with the angle grinder. So this is the piece I'm cutting off the other side now. Yeah. So yeah, still having fun and games with this suspension. It just goes to show, you know, you change one thing, you've got to change half a dozen things, you know. Yeah. one thing affects something else. But yeah, did get lucky with one thing. Like my front shockies are cactus. They just flop up and down. You can just grab them and just flop them in and out. They're totally stuffed. Got no resistance whatsoever. But I'd had an issue with when I did my last trip, and I loaded a whole lot of gear into the front and the back. Because these wheels have a Porsche offset, and they were actually, they're out. They stick out wider than the Volkswagen ones do. So yeah, they were scrubbing on the guards every bump for the trip up there. And what I decided to do was I got some springs. I got some industrial springs which ended up breaking on the way back anyway. But I packed springs. I cut the dust covers off, and I put a spring around the shaft of the shocky, which was enough to hold it up. And yes, so because they broke on the way home, what I've done is I've got some motorcycle front fork springs, cut them down and put them in there. And at first it was sort of riding a bit hard, but then when I did the other lift in the back, that's lifted the front as well. It's taken the weight off it. And yeah, it's actually riding quite well now, apart from getting a bounce on it. So, but yeah, I got lucky with these other shocks. These are shocks that come off my Fairlane. I took them off the back, and because they're just getting soft. Like they're still, they're still reasonably strong. They're just not, not strong enough for the weight and the Fairlane, and so, but that they should be plenty good enough to go on the front of the bug. And I was thinking they'd be way too long, but decided to check anyway, and from here to here is the exact same length. The only difference is that the centre pins are wider, so I'm just going to just cut them off, and they'll be good to go. Transfer me springs. Yeah. Speaking of the front end, I do have an issue. I've got since lifting it, I'm now getting what's known as bump steer. And, I'll explain it to you. I'll try to explain it to you without setting up any. Best way will be to draw it out, but you won't go to that sort of drama. But it needs a bit of rod. Yeah, that'll do. Right. Bit of rod. Right. Now, let's say that's your wheel. Okay? Now, right, got that up there. We've got about 1 millimetre of gap. And I sort of need, Now when your suspension goes up and down, it's designed, your suspension is designed with your, as I said, this is the steering arm, that's your wheel. So your arm is designed to be basically level, so that, as it moves, like this gap, the gap between here and here will increase as it moves. I'll show you. Right. See the difference there? We've raised it 2 inches, and we've gone from 2 millimetre to about 6 millimetres. And the same down here. That's sort of what they allow for. But the problem is, right, if you got it at an angle like that, right, push it back up, so we got our 2 millimetres. We've just done a wheel alignment. Now, when it goes over a bump, going to come right up. Right, it's just moved. See how much it's now touching. It's pushed the wheel out. You know, we've gone from 6mm. You know, so when it's come up over a bump, it's pushed the wheel out 8mm. So yeah, it's sort of hard to explain it, but right. So if you're looking, vertical, like this is looking horizontal. So if you're looking vertical from on top, what's happening is that as it goes up and down over bumps, your towing is changing. See? So like if it's at the back, which the Volkswagen is, what it's doing is when you go over your bump, your wheels are towing in and coming back out like that. So it's affecting your wheel alignment, like majorly. So yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to do about it, but yeah, it's sort of driving a bit ruddy. You hit a bump and it wanders like majorly. So I'm going to have to change something so that the steering arms are still straight. Anyway, that'll be another video when I work something out. Not sure what I'm going to do yet, but yeah, I'll do something. Not going to worry about it just now for the trip, because when I get this all loaded up with its weight, it won't be that. Yeah, it'll be considerably lower anyway with all the weight and passengers and camping gear and clothes and etc. etc. So it'll be somewhere near where it would have been anyway. Like, that's one thing I noticed yesterday when I had all the boys and the gear in it, is it wasn't doing the bump steer thing, because we'd already we'd made the car lower with the weight that we put in it. But anyway, yeah, hope that sort of explains it a little bit. Yeah, as I said, what I'm going to do about it, I'm not sure yet, but I've got to do something, because it's too ruddy. When I'm driving it by myself, it's wandering. All right, we'll leave it at that, and yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.